For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas. Both Israel and Palestine have so far abided by the 72-hour ceasefire, which started at 8 local time yesterday morning. Today, both Israeli and Palestinian delegations, including Hamas members, are in Cairo, Egypt, discussing a more permanent agreement. Hamas is asking for an internationally funded reconstruction of Gaza, an end to the blockade of the region, and the opening of borders with Egypt and Israel. Israel withdrew its remaining groups from Gaza as the ceasefire came into effect. This truce is the longest hiatus in the conflict, which has cost nearly 1,900 Palestinian lives, the majority of them civilians. Yesterday, dozens of protesters took to the streets of Jerusalem to express their support for the Palestinian people. Protesters carried flags and banners in support of the resistance group Hamas. During the protests, Israeli security forces attempted to suppress the crowd, firing tear gas. It's the latest in a list of protests around the world denouncing Israeli attacks on Gaza. Russia has called for the UN Security Council to hold an emergency meeting on the Ukrainian situation. The news came from yesterday from Russia's ambassador to the UN. He described the situation in Ukraine as catastrophic, full-blown war and called for an international humanitarian mission to be launched. It comes after John Jing, director of UN humanitarian operations, said that violence, especially in urban areas, will put more people at risk and lead to an increase in the casualty numbers. He also says that power and water supplies are scarce and health workers are fleeing the region. Nearly 4 million people living in the region are affected by the violence. The deputy ambassador of Ukraine denies that there is a humanitarian problem in Ukraine. The conflict has claimed over 1,300 lives so far. Columns of ash reaching up to 2.5 miles could be seen coming from the Urbinus volcano in Peru yesterday. In the past few weeks, regional scientists have noticed an increase of hybrid earthquakes, which comes with a rise of the surface's magma. For now, the communities around the volcano continue with daily life, but with a close watch on the puffing volcano. After many years inactive, the Urbinus volcano turned active again in December of last year. Each August, Bolivia celebrates the Pachamama, the maternal goddess of Earth. For more on how Bolivians show appreciation for Mother Earth, here's our correspondent, David Daughtry.
Across the Andes, the Pachamama, the maternal god of the earth in indigenous cultures, is celebrated in the month of August. The festivities begin on August 1st. In Bolivia, ceremonies were held across the country. At this traditional indigenous Aymara ritual in the city of El Alto, a llama is sacrificed and delivered along with coca leaves, alcohol, and other symbolic gifts as an offering to the Pachamama in order to bring good luck and fortune.
This sacrifice is in order to bring good fortune to everyone, for brothers, for jobs, for health, for luck, for trips and for cars, also for those who are ill. This is a sacred place that has always supported us.
Y también para los autos, y también nosotros que curamos a los enfermos, para eso también nos apoya mucho este Huaca.
The traditional practitioners of the rituals are known as amautas, who are trained from generation to generation.
Estas son nuestras costumbres de nuestros ancestros, ¿no?
These are the customs of our ancestors, and so every year we do this in order to make sure that we don't lose our traditions. Year after year, we walk alongside the customs that our grandparents have left us.
August is one of the busiest times of the year for amautas, as more clients come during the month of Pachamama for consultations and blessings. Not long ago, the Amautas of Bolivia were forced to practice their customs in the shadows as they faced widespread discrimination and were considered witches who brought bad luck. Now in recent years, with the social and cultural changes occurring in Bolivia, there has been a revalorization of their traditions. Reporting from El Alto, Bolivia, this is David Daughtry with Telesur.
U.S. intelligence officials now worry a new leaker may be passing on national security secrets to journalists. The concerns come after the online publication The Intercept published an article analyzing classified counterterrorism documents. The article explains the U.S. government's terrorism watch list and reveals that over 40% of those on the list have no recognized terrorist group affiliation. Published yesterday, the documents are classified as secret and no foreign, meaning the intelligence contained in them should not be shared with foreign governments. The documents were dated for August 2013, after former National Security Agency contractor and whistleblower Edward Snowden left his intelligence position and fled the United States.
It empowers democracy in a way that can turn one man into.
Health officials in West Africa say Sierra Leone may not be able to handle the Ebola outbreak. The coordinator of Doctors Without Borders says that to deal with the deadly disease, they need more international help. She adds that unsafe burial practices continue, which often don't include disinfection. Infected patients have often hid out of fear instead of seeking treatment. Yesterday, hundreds of soldiers were deployed in Sierra Leone in an attempt to quarantine the villages at the center of the outbreak. 646 cases have been reported in the nation, with 273 fatalities. The Japanese city of Hiroshima remembered the 69th anniversary of the U.S. atomic bombing today. Tens of thousands, including survivors of the destruction, gathered in Peace Memorial Park. The crowds, including the U.S. ambassador to Japan, Caroline Kennedy, observed a moment of silence at 8:15 a.m., the time at which the bomb destroyed the city in a ball of fire. Hiroshima Mayor Kazumi Matsui urged world leaders of nuclear nations to visit the city to see evils of nuclear weapons. In 1945, the United States used a massive atomic weapon on Hiroshima, Japan. The equivalent of 20,000 tons of TNT, the atomic bomb flattened the city, killing tens of thousands of civilians. Around 190,000 survivors from the nuclear attack are still alive today. Today's commemoration comes ahead of the review of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the main forum for nuclear disarmament.
Here and there, an isolated structure reminds the onlooker.
Spanish football club Real Madrid officially welcomed Costa Rican goalkeeper Keylor Navas at their Santiago Bernabeu stadium yesterday. Navas had a breakout performance at this year's World Cup in Brazil, where he helped lead his team to the quarterfinals before falling to the Netherlands in a shootout. He won FIFA's Golden Glove Award as the best goalkeeper of the tournament. Navas announces that playing for his new club will be a challenge he will have to work for, especially since the club already has two excellent goalkeepers. I hope you'll check out more on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle.